Good morning. Every one of you know that we were discussing the literary terms or the literary devices. The today's term is ballad. Okay, we will start with the meaning of ballad and we will go towards the meaning that is written in a glossary of literary terms by M.H. Abrams, and we will try to understand some examples of ballad. Okay, so that in examinations we can answer it properly. First of all, ballad is a poem or song narrating a story in a short stanza. In short stanzas with simple construction. So you have to remember one thing that ballad is a kind of poem or a song. Generally, it narrates a story in short stanzas and the construction is very simple. The traditional ballads are typically of unknown authorship. That is, we do not know who has written this ballad. Okay, I'm talking about the traditional ballads, not the other ballads. Okay, we will try to categorize the ballads as well. Then we will come to know what is traditional ballad or the folk ballad or the literal ballad or literary ballad. Ballads are passed on orally. It is passed on orally from one generation to the next, and the subjects are deeds rather than thoughts. That is, ballads are so simple, it does not uh, talk about the thought, it talks about the deeds, that is, the doings, that is, the action. Okay, it is very simple. Some other similar words are there for ballad. They are most probably shanti. Shanti is a kind of song or music. Tale, saga, folk song or song. Okay, these terms are also used interchangeably for the word ballad. Okay, sometimes a slow, sentimental or romantic song, can also be considered as ballad, which expresses simple love affair, which is not a complex one. Okay, simple love affair, mainly a tragic kind of love affair. Okay, where we can see the separation, where we can see that the hero and heroine or the main characters, the lover and beloved, are not united. Okay, they dies of something. Okay, such kind of themes are also being discussed in ballad. Um, Form. Now coming to the form, it it opens abruptly without any systematic introduction. That is, ballads are such kind of poems or songs where there is no any systematic introduction. Lines are repeated from stanza to stanza, which is known as refrain. Lines are repeated from stanza to stanza. Some lines are repeated again and again in all the stanzas. Generally, I'm not telling that in all the times it happens, but generally it happens. And this particular uh, way of narration, this particular way of repetition of lines in each stanza is known as refrain. This is another literary device. Okay, to emphasize in that particular line. I think you have understood what ballad is. And now coming to the definition of ballad that is written in a glossary of literary terms. According to this book, there are some other terms for ballad. One is popular ballad. Number two is folk ballad. Number three is traditional ballad. That is, this book is generally talking about the traditional kind of ballad, which is written by unknown author. Okay, it is a song transmitted orally which tells a story, according to a glossary of literary terms. Ballads are, thus, narrative spaces of folk songs which originates and are communicated orally among illiterate or only partly literate people. You have to remember this particular point as well. While answering the questions, if you include this sentence, the weightage of your answer will enhance. Okay, it is communicated orally, it is transmitted orally among the illiterate people or among the partly literate people. Try to remember this. Generally composed by unknown author, as I have already mentioned. Typically, the popular ballad is dramatic, condensed, and impersonal. These are the qualities of ballad. Okay, dramatic means abrupt beginning, dramatic beginning. Condensed and impersonal. Try to look at the meaning of these particular words as well. I'm not going to explain all these things. The narrator begins with climatic episode, tells a story tersely in action and dialogue. Okay, if the writer or the speaker or the narrator narrates a story in dialogue form, it is easy to be understood. Okay, and if it is expressed in action, then also it is very easy to be understood. This is why uh, these devices like action, like dialogue, are used by the narrator repeatedly. The narrator tells it without self-reference or the expression of personal attitudes or feelings. That is, it is impersonal, as I told you already. Impersonal means there is no trace of personal attitude or feelings in the poem or the ballad. Okay, I think you have understood what is written in a glossary of literary terms. Now, coming to the types of ballad. Generally or primarily, it has two types. Number one is folk ballad, which is also known as the ballad of growth, and number two is literary ballad, which is also known as the ballad of art. Folk ballad is that kind of ballad which is composed by unknown author, okay, passed from generation to generation without any uh, definite writer. Okay, there are some examples, but one of the most important examples you can relate with is the ballads of Robin Hood. I think you have heard about this particular character, Robin Hood. Okay, he is a knight. Okay, his story, his mm, the life story is being narrated generation after generation without any particular author, and this is an example of folk ballad. Okay. Number two is the literary ballad. Generally, this kind of ballad is a modern type of ballad. Here we can see the known author, that is, it is written by some known author. For example, we can take the Rime of the Ancient Mariner, which is written by S.T. Coleridge, a romantic poem that is based on imagination during the Romantic period. Poems from lyrical ballads. Lyrical ballads is a collection of anthology of poems by Wordsworth and Coleridge, which was published in 1798. Okay, the poems that are included in this anthology can also be considered as the ballads. Okay, the title itself is signifying that it is ballad, lyrical ballads. And the other example, another example may be John Cage's La Belle Dame sans Mercy. This is another example. Now coming to the subject matters or the themes that the ballads actually cover. Okay, it may cover the adventurous story. Okay, it may cover the religious stories. It may also talk about heroic or chivalric stories, ghost stories, love stories, war related stories. Sometimes historical references can also be traced in such kind of ballads. Okay, and the revenge stories, horror type of things, the revenge ones. So these are the subject matters. I think you have understood the ballad. Okay, what is ballad? What are the examples of ballad? What are the types of ballad? What may be the subject matter of the ballad? Now coming to some other important thing, that the formation of ballad, how it forms, that is the uh, sentence structure or the stanzas. That in a ballad, ballads are mostly written in quatrains, that is 4-line stanzas. The stanzas that are included in ballad are generally of 4 lines. First and third lines of the stanza are longer than second and fourth line. Okay, and another important thing is the writers or the narrator of the ballad usually use the colloquial language, that is the ordinary language, that is the spoken language, that is the easy language which can be related to the common people. Okay, that is the common reader can also understand the language of a ballad very easily. Now the 4 lines of rhyme of the ancient mariner is given here. uh, you can just look at what is written here. The sun now rose up on the right, out of the sea come he, still hid in mist, and on the left went down into the sea. Now see, first line and third line are comparatively longer than second and fourth line. This is from part 2 of Rhyme of the Ancient Mariner by Coleridge. Okay, this is stanza 1 of this part. We can see the simplicity in presentation. That is the language, that is the use of sentence, that is the syntax. Everything is very simple. Okay, so I think you have understood the form of ballad, the definition of ballad, the types of ballad. I'm not claiming that what I have talked to you today are the ultimate one. This is not ultimate. There are many things that you have to know about ballad. If you go through a glossary of literary terms, if you go through the other books where it is written about the ballad, you will get many things which I have not covered here. Okay, I think I am understandable for you. Thank you so much.